Magna is an untrained or untried witch. And actually, she has a very sad past, tragic past.
Yeah.
Her father, who was immortal, passed away. And when he did, her mother, who was a witch, it's that the witch blood flows through the women in her family, she kind of decided to fade away and without necessarily teaching Magna the things that she would need to know to properly protect the family and the lineage. And now you have this very young woman who's kind of looking for somewhere to settle, and oftentimes she finds it in not so great people, and she puts stock into them, and she lets them kind of lead her around before she really realizes, wait a second, what did I just do?
Right.
Because she doesn't have that base of family.
In that hunt for the book, she's really hunting for herself and her own power. You know, she has this tremendous power in her. She's descended from this long line going all the way back to the Witch of Endor, which does appear in the Bible. Like if you read the Bible, it describes the Witch of Endor and how she summoned the soul of King Saul right before his of Samuel for King Saul before King Saul's final battle. So she's a real witch that she's descended from. And so she knows she has this very rich lineage, but she doesn't really know who she is as a person. So in this hunt for this book and this effort to figure out what her place is in all of these just catastrophic, really huge historical events, she's hunting for who she really is. So it's not just a hunt out through Europe, it's also a hunt inside of herself to find her own power and her own strength. You know, I think she just doesn't realize how strong she really is until she's put to the test.
And she relies a lot on her angel.
Yeah.
I love the angel.
Oh,
He always shows up whenever.
He's one of my
he's needed.
favorites. Yeah, I love that guy.
Raziel, and that's ancient Hebrew,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
And he originally wrote this book when Adam was kicked out of the garden. So we're talking like literally the beginning of man.
Right.
In your story, he wrote the book back then in order to protect kind of humankind. But I think what he doesn't understand is humankind back then was a couple of people, and they were generally trying to do the good thing. He might not, like this angels might not have foreseen.
I was just going to say, this is a classic case of unintended consequences. Yeah. You know, I would say this angel is so powerful, but he has the fatal flaw of compassion. He can't help but feel the pain of the human beings who have to struggle in the world, have the burden of free choice, and have to figure out how they're going to survive or how to make the right decision. He doesn't have to make any decisions. He's a messenger. He's just delivering the message. That's his job. That's his place in the universe. So I think that since the beginning of time, that has been Raziel's fatal flaw. He felt so sorry for Adam, having been kicked out of the Garden of Eden, that he gave him this book to console him. And it led to all kinds of problems because, you know, it led to all the debaucheries and all the issues that culminated in the flood. And in that period, you also had fallen angels that came to sleep with the human women before the flood. So there were other angels who also were attracted to humankind and the human world. So I think it's like a temptation for him. I mean, at one point in the book, Magda says that it's like going to heaven a little bit just to be around him because he's this celestial being. And for him, coming to where she was like going into hell. Like for him, it's such a descent. So it's like he feels compassion for these people who are trapped in life and are trying to figure out what choices to make. And I think he's also intrigued by the fact that people get to make a choice. So it tempts him the way we were all tempted by other things.
And this choice is very important because at the beginning and the end of the book is kind of bookends. There are questions that your character actually asks the reader. Yeah. She asks the reader, who do you love? And which side will you choose, the light or the dark? Because I think that's something that literally every single person in your book has to make, not just once. It's not a choice they make once.
Right.
You have to make it over and over again.
And this is how it is for all of us. We're always going to have to make those choices again and again and again. You might have done it right once, but then you're going to be confronted with new challenges, and you need to find the way through the highest path, you know? And so I don't know. And Magda inspires me so much because she's constantly making these choices through the book. And she knows she's going to choose wrong sometimes. We all do. And it's like she finds the strength within her to say, even if I make the wrong choice, I'm still going to go ahead and go forward and keep trying to seek the light. And that's all any of us can do.
Okay, so for all the readers out there that are really interested in Magda's story, you have to run out and grab Lady Lazarus to get ready for the second one as she fights to stop the war from coming.
Yes, thank you so much.